we're going to call the meeting to order. So I asked for approval of the February 11th minutes.
So moved.
Okay, Michael?
Second.
Second. Okay, Alex. All right, now is the time for a public comment on any items not on the agenda. Do we have anybody that wants to chat about anything? Oh, sorry. All in favor of approval of the minutes? Opposed? Okay, and so the minutes pass. See, Alex is in training for he's trying to take my job. Okay.
That was a test.
That was a test, and he passed. Okay, so okay, so the Recreation Division operations. Okay, here we go. All right, Brad.
You have that controller there.
There we go.
Want the light off? Can everybody see this all right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think we'll need the date. It's kind of nice to have that.
Sorry, one thing.
Yeah.
I kind of like jumped back into approving the minutes.
Yeah.
No, we actually had the time for the public comment.
Oh,
Was here.
is there a public comment? Okay.
There is.
No, I think, I could see everybody, so I knew no one wanted to say anything, but thank you.
Yes, this is our recreation team back here, and so every couple years, just because of the turnover with our commission here, we always think it's fun to be able to get in front of you and share a little bit about all the different program areas that we have. Because unless you're involved with the drop-in programs that we have, the special events that we have, you have a kid that signed up for one of the programs or you participate in something yourself, you oftentimes don't see a lot of the recreational different things that we have going on behind the scenes. But it's a lot. There's a lot of different things in the pot and a lot of things going on at all times. And so it's always kind of fun to share that with everybody so you can all kind of share in that as well. Couple different things. We oversee, from the recreation side of things, we oversee the recreation operations of our facilities, our recreational amenities, our programs and events that we have here in the community. The recreation team consists of 8 full-time staff. That includes myself and everybody behind me here. And then we also have the very amazing, talented contributions of, on the low season, it's 125 or so hourly staff, and we go up to over 200 staff during the summer season when City Park Pool is open, of course. To give you an idea of the breadth of the amount of hours that we have for our hourly staff, this last year we had the equivalent of 29 full-time staff, just in hourly hours. That it amounts to 60,000 hours of time worked by our hourly staff. But then you think about, we didn't actually have City Park Pool open either. And so with City Park Pool open, normal operations, we add, in addition to the 8 full-time staff that we have, the equivalent of 41 full-time staff into our operations and that's just on the recreation side of things. So definitely a lot of different things going on there. If you haven't had a chance to read the Recreation Master Plan that we launched in 2022, it's on our website. I would encourage you to go look at that. That really kind of maps out what we're doing as a recreation division for the next 10 years. So we're a couple years into that plan now. And one of the things that you'll notice in that is we talk a lot about outreach. So we have the recreation centers that we have. We have the different programs, we have the different events here, we have the swimming pools. But if you were to not go to the recreation centers that we have here, you may not have the opportunity to participate in different programs and events that we offer, be able to experience recreation. So really over the last 5-7 years, one of our biggest pushes has been to get out into the community, do a lot more outreach, get into our parks, provide programs and events in the parks that we have. We're now offering programs and events in over 20 different parks each year. We also have our Rec Assist program because we know that that's one of the biggest barriers for people is the ability to be able to afford the programs that we offer. And so our Rec Assist was something that used to be our low-income discount program. We rebranded that in 2020. Because it was easier for us to be able to market that, say, hey, if you need assistance, we understand that. But we have a program for you to be able to participate in. And since we did that rebranding, Rec Assist has grown over 20% each year. What it does is if somebody qualifies for it, if their family qualifies for it, it takes 50% off the cost of any passes, programs that they participate in. And so it's a great thing for the community. That's been growing over 20% per year over the last 5 years. We also subsidize about $70 per person per year through that program. So that you can see people are taking swim lessons, people are taking sports programs, our pottery program, people can go to the dog park, people can get their swim passes. All of that's included under our Rec Assist program. So just a couple different ways that we're getting more and more people involved, trying to break down those barriers. But I want to introduce our Recreation Division team here. Covered 7 different program areas that they'll go in depth about. I asked them to share a little bit about their history here, how long they've worked here, the different things that they cover in recreation, and then also some of the things that they've accomplished over the last couple of years and some of the things that they're looking forward to here over the next year or two. So I'm going to start off by introducing Matt Idle, who's our Assistant Recreation Superintendent. He'll tell a little bit about program areas that he covers.
As Brad said, I'm the Assistant Recreational Superintendent. I have been with the city for 25 years, currently in my position for the last 4 or 5 years. Some of my major things is I oversee the customer service staff at both facilities, which is about 25 to 30 part-time staff. I coordinate facility rentals, both tournaments, party packages, different meetings, different events at both facilities. Being one of 2 full-time staff over at the Mercer Park Aquatic Center, and pretty much handle the daily operations as well as the CIP coordinations. I assist Bill with the season activity guide. I kind of do the content. He kind of does the fluff, design, everything like that. I also do the Rec Assist approvals. Couple of things that I'm kind of, that we're headed that I'm doing. I'm trying to update and expand our customer service training to do more digital. That way everybody's getting the same information. We're trying to work with ActiveNet, which is our registration system, to try to improve the user, how easier it is to use, as well as for customer service. And then just continue to improve the communication and evaluation for facility rentals. One of the things I'm most proud of is something that happened actually last week. I don't know if you guys are familiar with our Tot Time program. It's Monday through Friday at Mercer between like 9:30 and 11:30. We have this girl who's 3 years old, and she comes in with her grandmother. Her favorite toy is like a little 2-foot inflatable horse that she rides. And of course, we needed some toys over at Robert A. Lee, so that's the one I took over here. So when she came with her grandmother, she couldn't find it. She came out and asked staff. So staff actually walked around with her throughout the facility, trying to look for different clues. Finally, after about 2 weeks, I remembered to bring it back to Mercer. But before we did that, we actually took a picture of the toy, and then we put it to like a mountain and a roller coaster to show that the horse took a 2 weeks vacation. So when the girl came back with her grandmother, she saw it. She came back out and we gave her the photos. 2 days later, the dad came for the first time and thanked us for those photos because they are going to frame them and put them up in her room. So that's one of my exciting things So any questions about? I know I kind of went through that quick. I wanted to tell my story. Oh, okay, perfect.
Sorry. I'm Kaylee Hausch. I've been with the city since 2019. I've been in full-time capacity since 2022. So I've worked here just for a little bit. I do all of the aquatic operations, so just overseeing our program areas with our 1 outdoor and 2 indoor facilities. This includes our water fitness programming, swim lessons, other daily operations, our American Red Cross lifeguard class offerings, WSI, LGI, aquatic events, anything mostly pool related, that is me. I'm also supervising 50 to 130 of our aquatic staff, interviewing them at least for these jobs, and it's really cool because a lot of them got in here the same way I did, of living 2 blocks down from Robert A. Lee. So it was really cool to kind of see it come full circle, being that part-timer that came in. I also try to collaborate with as many other organizations as I can, whether that's other program areas here within our department, or reaching out to those in the community of how we can get some more people to the pool and get them into our activities. That's a little bit about me and my position. I just want to touch on a few things of we've kind of been doing, and then looking ahead as we especially get closer to that summer season. So we've had an increased number of weeks for our swim lesson offerings. One thing that we always heard for feedback was, why don't we offer a makeup swim lesson? And it's because we're restricted to that University of Iowa semester school day, because all of them get close to finals and then we have some type of break. I lose all of them, so we're kind of tight in between there. But we decided that we could start some lessons just a teeny bit earlier and offer 2 6-week sessions to help with that retainment and that learning in those swim lesson areas. That way, if kids are sick, they're still getting those 5 lessons instead of down to 4. So we've seen an increase in that. I think it's been a little bit easier on our instructors to get to more and more material available to them with that added week. We've also seen an increase in our Rec Assist swim lessons, like what Brad mentioned. It's been a program that's been growing. In our last session, we had 275 Rec Assist enrollments. That's 275 covered swim lessons from us to our community to get people in here to learn how to swim. And that's across all of our age ranges from preschool up through adulthood. So it's really cool to see that number be so high, but we also want to see it grow so more people are accessing our programs. I want to really give our flowers to our staff. I know we're getting close to that City Park pool of what's going to happen this summer, all of the fun stuff. But we know that just staffing may become a question. And though we might be not as fully staffed as we normally are each summer, we are still extremely safe. 41% of our hourly currently hired staff have a separate American Red Cross certification outside of their lifeguarding certification. So a lot of them take that safety really seriously, are doing it for a career. They're studying it right now. So we have a very, very safe, very, very enthusiastically trained staff. We may see a little less of them, but they're pulling the hard work. And then we had a record number for our New Year's Eve beach ball drop. There were some pictures of it in one of the magazines or papers, and it was really cool to see that, a fun day event to spend for New Year's Eve. And it's just cool to see the public continue to want to come back to that one each year, and we just keep growing it. So that's what we've been up to. Where we're headed, obviously we're getting closer to summer, like I've mentioned. We're gonna bring back some events that have been really popular, like our hydrant parties out in Mercer Park and around Pheasant Ridge. We always get a really great turnout for those, with just a fun neighborhood feel, taking our aquatics somewhere else where there's not aquatics. Our splash pad parties as well, we're doing a couple more of those this summer, and we're bringing back that Spanish water education class that we started last year, trying to see an increase in those. We're gonna have 2 days this year. Just trying to get access again to those who maybe just don't have it on a regular basis or know how to get into our programming, and this is a great introduction. One thing we are adding is a swim venture days. So we used to do an event called Swim Introduction. It was supposed to be a free swim lesson to anybody who wanted to participate. Sometimes the logistics of that got a little hard with already being open for open swim that day. So we're trying to restructure it and create more of a solid curriculum. So it is a $3 entry fee, and you get an hour of a swim lesson. So you pay for 1/2 of a normal swim lesson and you get 2. And it's really supposed to be for anyone who has never participated in a swim lesson, don't know where to start for swim lessons, and just kind of learn some basics as you come to the pool of what's safe in the water, what resources do you go to, what else can we learn. So it's really supposed to revamp that in a way that's more structured, and have a little bit easier time of getting people that material and knowing what it is. And then, of course, we're looking forward to some new memories and experiences out at City Park Pool. That'll be just the highlight of the summer, really. So that's where we are headed for the aquatics program. I think we're doing questions at the end. So I'll wrap it up there. So thank you for listening.
Hey guys, I'm Nolan Bukowski. I'm the recreation assistant. I've been here since 2019 as well. I started part-time with customer service and then started as a recreation assistant in 2024. My primary responsibilities is to provide leadership to customer service staff and also aquatic staff. So I work very closely with both Matt and Kaylee with all their staffing needs. Schedule, train, provide regular communication with all hourly aquatics and customer service staff. Majority of the time, our trainings actually fall on the weekends or Thursday nights, and I work on Saturdays, so kind of point of contact here on Saturday, but also nice to be able to attend those trainings with lifeguard staff and kind of, collaborate and move that forward. I also work with everybody else, though, Bill, Megan, Jeff, Mallory, try and collaborate and be supportive with whatever they may need. So I've worked closely with everybody in the department. I think starting as part-time, kind of really helped me with my understanding and knowledge of how everything runs around here. So it's been great to kind of branch out a little bit more and get to the other departments as well. And just be a helping hand wherever I can be. So, where we've been, one thing that Kaylee and I kind of brainstormed on with the water fitness admission structure. So, I was kind of helping her out with bouncing ideas off of that. It's been great. Personally, I've noticed a lot of benefits of the procedure, both with staffing as well as with the community. So the water fitness admission instruction, has been a great new sort of procedure that we've rolled out. Just kind of offering more availability to everybody around the city to come and enjoy, water fitness classes at the pool. Also provided assistance with the recent Robert A. Lee pool renovation. We were in there almost every day working on stuff, getting it ready for the public to reopen, and that was fun to work with the maintenance team and also work with our my fellow coworkers and Brad and Matt. And so that was really fun, kind of seeing some of the day-to-day operations and also the maintenance side of things and getting that intact. So and then also obviously where we're heading, City Park Pool is going to be the big thing of this summer. Really looking forward to getting that staffed and operations rolling. And then also I will assist with planning, implementing a lot of the summer activities that are going on as well. So thank you.
Hello, everybody. How are you today? Great. So my name is Mallory Smizer. I oversee the Adaptive and Inclusive Recreation and Outreach. The acronym for Adaptive and Inclusive is AIR. So if you hear me say that, that's what I'm referring to. So my primary responsibilities is overseeing that programming for people with disabilities of all ages and all disabilities, providing inclusive services for our programs and our spaces. We do provide a variety of programming, including life skills, cooking, baking, arts, and crafts, just trying to cover a little bit of everybody's interests and making sure that we're reaching out and making activities available for everybody and what is going to make everybody want to be involved. I also supervise the Ned Ashton House, which we have extended into being an satellite recreation space, and that space has become really wonderful for us. It's where we have not all, but a majority of our adaptive and inclusive programs over there, as well as my office. I think I have the best office in the city. It's really beautiful out there. I'm very blessed. So we also have a drop-in program over there 3 days a week from 9 to 11, where we offer just a variety of opportunities for anybody who maybe doesn't have a day hab program, or actually the majority of what we get are day hab programs that are doing things in the community, and they're looking for different ways to get involved and do things outside and socialize and recreate. So we do crafts, we do events, we have speakers come out. Today they did tote bag decorating. Tomorrow they're doing cosmos. They're exploring the cosmos and doing some stargazing in the middle of the day inside. So we'll figure out how that works. But we just do a little bit of variety, and we've been really consistent getting a good group of people. We get between 7 to 25 people daily for those. It's been really, really wonderful. A lot of regular people, they're really enjoying the space and building relationships with our participants and our staff. So it's been a really great program so far. So including that, I oversee the staffing for both the AIR programs as well as the staffing for the teen engagement after school program over at Mercer. So we call that program TREE. It oversees the hours pretty much between like 3:30 to about 6:30. So 3 hours after school, anytime the school is in session, where we have staff over there to help supervise the young adults that are there taking advantage of the facility. We found that they're not really super interested in actually having recreation planned for them, but they're there to utilize the space. So the gym space, the game room, they're there to socialize. We do have a few people that are interested in like arts and crafts, so we have some supplies for them that we'll pull out, but mostly my staff is just supervising, keeping everybody on task, making sure that people are interacting and following the rules, and it's been wonderful as well. And then the outreach piece, I also do plan and organize and coordinate a lot of different cultural events around the community. So I oversee the MLK Day event, Women's Day event, the She Speaks Women Day event, the Disability Expo, 88 Birthday Bash, National Night Out, and the Indigenous Peoples Day event. So these are events I've been doing for a while now, but they're ongoing. I work with a lot of different community organizations for those, and then we're also always looking for new ideas as well. So since I've been here in 2000, I didn't even tell you guys, I'm sorry. I've been here since 2022. And since I've been here, we've more than doubled the participation in programs as well as the program offering in the AIR program area. So we've increased how many different people that we're reaching by increasing and elaborating on the types of programs that we're offering. And then we've also successfully programmed that in that recreation satellite location over at Ned Ashton House. So we don't want to segregate those users, but we want to provide them an opportunity to have a space to call their own and really have ownership of that and feel like it's their space to make it their own. But then we still do activities here at Robert A. Lee and at Mercer, so it's not like we're trying to squirrel them away. We want them to have something of their own as well as being part of the community. And I've also spent a lot of time building and maintaining relationships with over 50 different organizations throughout Johnson County. And this is through outreach and different events that we've put on, either working together to have them be vendors at different programs or co-hosting or supporting their programs and their outreach as well. So where we're headed, I'd love to explore the expansion of the drop-in program. Like I said, that's been very successful. Right now we're at 3 days a week. I'd love to expand that out or even explore some late afternoon opportunities. That is like currently an unprogrammed time frame. I'd also like to continue to grow the AIR programming and offer more classes so they reach more interest, and also look at adding more one-time events for the teens. So right now we do like an end of school day pool party when we have an outdoor pool. So we'll start that again next year. We do a skate night, we do a Halloween party, but we'd like to look to add some more events in the winter once we get some more momentum and see what the interest is for that. Thank you.
I was going to say good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Bill Lane. I've been in recreation for 21 years now, 10 of that split part-time between Sioux City, Iowa, and Vermillion, South Dakota, and then about 8 years in Sioux City full-time, and then I've been here since February 5th of 2024 in this capacity, and I hope to stay here a lot longer than that. So my main areas of responsibility are going to be department communications for recreational opportunities. Gabe covers the parks opportunities. I do the recreation and recreation within parks as well. And then also special events for the department. So for those communications, that would include things like our seasonal recreation guide that I collaborate with Matt a lot on and get a lot of that information out. We created some mid-season guides as well to kind of fill that gap between those 3 seasonal guides that we do put out each year, as well as putting out some flyers. We do a lot of press releases. Any of the website edits go through myself and also Gabe with that. A lot of social media. So a lot of the stuff you see on social media for either the the Parks Recreation Department or Farmers Market is done through myself and my content creator that works with me on that. And anything, again, parks related is going to be with Gabe. We do a lot of Nextdoor posts on that. We do a lot of Peach Jar, which if you're not familiar with Peach Jar is the way that we promote our activities to the Iowa City Community School District with that, which is, we're very fortunate to have that opportunity because that's not something that's available in every community around the state of Iowa to be able to work with those schools as easily. So we're very fortunate in that regard. We also post on a lot of our local online community calendars, Downtown District calendar, the Little Village calendar, things like that. We're trying to find more calendars, like Think Iowa City was one that just we recently brought up to them and trying to get things on their calendar as well. And then we're also in charge of the department branded giveaways. So we've got some really cool, like we've got pens, we've got keychains, like wooden keychains. They actually kind of smell like burning firewood. So I happen to like that. Not everybody might like that. I enjoy it. And then as far as special event goes, I've got a host of special events all the way throughout the year. Those are going to be things like Freeze Fest in February. We have our Pedal Power in May every year. It's going to include the Iowa City Farmers Market, which is kind of one of my big pride and joy events for 6 months out of the year, and then 2 additional holiday markets after that. This is also going to include Party in the Park, that series, and that runs June through into August each summertime. We had to start a little bit later this year just because school gets out a little bit later this year. And it's going to include Get Outside in September, which again is kind of one of my big main flagship events for the year. Aside from those things with the Iowa City Farmers Market, we do have a kids market that's incorporated into that. This year we're adding a secondary kids market just because there's huge demand for that particular event throughout Iowa City. And I was kind of surprised to see that when I got here, but really thrilled that we could provide an additional way for kids to be able to participate in that. And of course, we've got those 2 November and December holiday markets that we have that are very well attended as well. For recent accomplishments and some upcoming projects for the farmers market in particular, we started out last year with a goal of having about 50% of our market dates having a partner outreach group. Now, partner outreach groups for us at the farmers market are going to be groups within the community that offer experiential or educational engagement opportunities for people that are not going to be those typical market goers. We ended up finishing out the season with about 80% of those dates filled. So we surpassed our 50% goal, got to 80. The goal for this next year is going to be to get about 50% of those dates by having 2 or more partner outreach groups. So we've kind of already started that, and we're well on our way of getting that implemented for the farmers market. We've also instituted some measures to help minimize vacant stalls at the market, provide some additional opportunities to interested vendors. In the past, we have had some trouble with just no-shows and late withdrawals at the market, which ends up kind of causing the market to feel a little bit more empty, a lot more empty than what we would prefer. And that obviously raises questions by other interested parties and members of the community. So we've instituted some measures to try to reduce those vacant stalls and try to kind of promote those vendors and really adhering to those dates that they've selected, or at least giving us advance notice in time to be able to fill that. But also what we've done is we have kind of streamlined a pre-approval process for our interested vendors that we may not have worked with before. So once we go into the season, we fill the entire market season. We kind of call it our grid. We've got a huge map of about 3,267 different stalls throughout the entire season. And once we fill that map, then we kind of pre-approve new vendor products so that if we get to a point where we have additional stalls available, we can streamline an approval and get them included into the market. And that also makes it easier for them to participate down the road in future markets. And again, we're adding that second kids market to the 2026 season due to very high demand. For where we're heading for Party in the Park, that has been growing. It was growing well before me, and I've continued to grow that. One of the things I'd like to do is start to incorporate more of our food vendors. And we work with a lot of those farmers market food vendors since we have a good relationship with them already. And trying to include them in more Party in the Park dates, as well as more of our local organizations to provide additional opportunities for people that attend Party in the Park. That might not be there if, the music or the yard games or things like that. Might want some educational opportunities as well. And then we're also exploring some possible event collaboration with the athletic department at the University of Iowa. It's preliminary right now, and I'm really excited about the possibility of it because it's a pretty unique opportunity that I've only heard of happening in one other area of the country. And once we move a little bit more forward with that, I'll give some additional details on if that ends up working out. And obviously, if it works out, send an invite to all of you as well to join us. And I think that's about all we've got with that. And just hope to see everybody at the farmers market and some special events. If you have any questions about dates and times, feel free to reach out.
Hi. So I'm the newbie. I took over Joyce Carroll's position. I kind of have a weird history because I started with Parks and Rec as a Green Iowa AmeriCorps member under Joyce Carroll in 2017-ish. And then about a year later, I did Green Iowa again, but I also came on as customer service staff and under Joyce doing like the programs and special events. Then COVID hit and I went over to City Hall, worked in climate action, and I was there for almost 3 years, and then Joyce retired and I applied for this job. So I started August 11th, so pretty new, not even a year in this position. So I oversee art, STEAM, nature, summer camp, and I do programming for both youth and adults. And we do ceramics and pottery, so oversee the pottery studio as well, Discovery Garden, and roller skating. I plan and coordinate and implement special events. So we just had STEAM Discovery, which was Saturday. It was a small STEAM event, but it went really well. About 100 people showed up, which is pretty good for a small event. I do Winter Solstice, which is an annual event. People come and make gifts, and that is a really popular event. It's always been popular. When I worked for Joyce, it was popular too. We'll do the garden parties that are in July, investigation station at Party in the Park, and then play days, also formally kind of morphed into play days from playground program. Next slide. Thank you. So where we've been, collaboration with city departments, including when I was at Climate Action, I collaborated with Joyce, and then still collaborating with Climate Action. The library, of course, human rights, collaborating with the library this summer as well on a couple of events and initiatives. Resource sharing, we share resources, including rooms and staff with the senior center and other city programs. And then I would like to expand on that in the future, not just with the city, but with other organizations. I kind of did that a lot in Climate Action. I reached out to other organizations. I have existing relationships with a lot of organizations in town, so I'd like to keep up with my relationship with those organizations and try to figure out how to reach audiences that maybe we're not already reaching, maybe by collaborating with a bunch of different organizations, including the school district. We have a good relationship with them. They borrow our stream table. It's a huge table that mimics how streams are made in erosion, and you can see it in real time. The kids love it, of course, because they can get messy and they love to flood things. So that is a great collaboration with the school district. They actually just borrowed the stream table for one of their science events, so I'd like to expand upon that as well. Talking to actually a teacher about our skating program. Don't know if that's going to go anywhere, but he's very interested in developing a skating program for his school. So kind of just telling him about the logistics of our program, how it works, how we check out the skates, connecting him with one of my staff who actually does roller skating professionally, and she has taught in the past, so kind of learning from her as well. So just more collaboration and helping, other community organizations. This summer, we also have a bird series, and we're collaborating with the Bird Club, and the idea is to get families out to 3 different locations in Iowa City and talk about the benefits of birds and the prairies that are around those areas and why that habitat is important. And we're going to highlight 3 different parks and 3 different birds and have speakers. So pretty excited about those programs coming up. I would like to expand the Discovery Garden programs as well. We had the garden parties, like I said, in July, but we don't have a lot of the regular programming that we do, like with the arts and crafts, nature, which is my bread and butter. I would like to also expand out there. We have some really great staff that love gardening and have a lot of talent. And that brings me to the Discovery Garden itself. We're kind of trying to reimagine it and figure out how we can keep it like this engaging, beautiful space for the public, but also cut down maintenance. We are losing somebody who is a master gardener and really amazing. Luckily, we have another person on staff who is great with the garden, but we got to figure out how to manage that loss of this amazing staff person who is moving on to other things. So figuring out with my staff and actually with Tyler and Brad, how we can make that possible. And then I want to increase participation rates with our programs with adults. They've been pretty low, and I think that organizations, like partnering with organizations that cater to that audience, is key for that. So kind of figuring out what's possible and who would like to partner and collaborate with that. Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm too old to understand what that is. Well, my name's Jeff Sears. I'm going to be just like Matt. I'm not going to say what year I started. I'm going to say how long I've been here. So I've been here for 18 years. I worked as rec director in Grinnell for 10 years before that, and I was 5 years in Indiana before that. So that adds up to 33, I think, if my math is correct. I do sports and wellness and also rentals as much as, if it's not inside of a building, it's probably me when it comes to a rental. Programming at sports and wellness, it's traditional volleyball, basketball, t-ball, that type of stuff. Last night we had adults playing in the gym, and right now we've got 2-year-olds playing in the gym, learning in the gym. We do, it says RAL fitness room operations, but I also oversee City Hall. And when there's a problem with the machines at Senior Center, they call me and I arrange for the guy to come and fix it. I don't fix it, I don't know, but I know who to call when it comes to getting them fixed. I also oversee the dog parks and the operations and the staffing. I deal with animal services on issues with, dogs that bite other dogs or people or anything like that. I also oversee the staff. So I do work pretty closely with park staff on that, as well as coordinating the ball field rentals for sports, the affiliate groups, outside renters. Also on that, I oversee, I don't do the rentals for the lodge, but I watch over those, make sure that those are done right. And I also do the Riverside Theater rentals. So I deal with Shakespeare in the Park. West High actually asked last month about using it for their play because their theater is going to be under construction in 27. Unfortunately, that's also the seat replacement spring, so we couldn't help them out in that regard. I do also watch over I'm the contact for the Rec Division's special events permit requests. They go through the city clerk's office. So Jazz Fest, any protest marches or 5K runs or anything like that, they go through a process of getting a public assembly permit with the clerk's office. Tyler's the park's contact for that. So we see everything that goes on inside for rentals downtown at the Pet Mall and stuff like that. We also get one from the university every year for when they have dorm move-in. I always think about, what if I said no? I don't think they'd listen at that point. The bottom one there, it says provide assistance with the community and full-time staff with ActiveNet issues. Matt and I have been here since we started the thing. So Matt and I have said that if we go to something else, then we'll have 2 new people in our positions. We've always joked that there's always a way to fix it. There's a box that needs checked or unchecked. There's always something. Something that everybody missed, we all are certified to teach CPR, first aid, and AED so we can teach our staffs. We had, what was it, last week? You taught these two so that they can teach. So all 8 of us have that ability to teach our staff first aid and CPR. So I was the last one to do it, so it's somebody else's turn next. Where we've been, we started pickleball lessons. Pickleball seems to be an up-and-coming thing. We also restarted tennis lessons after the renovation of the Mercer Park tennis courts and pickleball courts. So we haven't had tennis for quite a while, but now we've got a good instructor, somebody that'll do it. We're not doing pickleball and tennis at the same time because it's the same instructor. And pickleball in the summer is too chaotic, so we're going to stay away from that. We're going to do spring and fall. We started lacrosse with Kingfisher Lacrosse. We've got one of our part-time staff members as a coach for them, so they came to us and wanted to do clinics. So that spun off into something where we're headed. But last year we hosted the Iowa 7-on-7 football state championships down at Kickers, and we've also done 9 cross-country meets. Colin Stewart at Parks, he's in charge of athletics. He loves checking off another sport that we've hosted. So we just knocked off, I think 7-on-7 is actually touch. This spring we've got Red Zone Football wants to do girls flag. That's on one of the Sundays in April. I totally forgot about that one. Cross country we've done for 10, 12 years now. Look, Regina came to us and we've started doing that. We host 4A state qualifier and 2A state qualifier meets now because of that. New lacrosse league, there was a lacrosse league, LUG, I don't know who that is. Caleb, you might know, but they came to us. They want to have a college intramural type lacrosse league, 7-on-7, 8v8, something like that. Rugby sevens, the rugby club has come to us. They're going to host the 1AA national championships this May, if I remember right. That's going to be out at Kickers as well. With the renovations at Mercer Park and Napoleon this summer, we're going to be down a few fields. So working with rental groups like Little Hawk Softball Club, Caleb, other groups, Little Hawk Baseball. There was a huge long list of people that I deal with. Adult baseball, that type of stuff, City High. We have a couple of retirees that retired from working for us at the dog park, so we'll have some new staff out there, some new ideas on stuff to do. So that's my stuff. Thank you.
All right, we'll have to talk.
Yeah, you can see that everything that they do brings a lot of breadth, and their expertise and knowledge and ideas are wonderful. We're lucky to have all of them here. They really progress our department forward and the city's recreational opportunities that you all have access to. So, do you have any questions for us?
I'm curious how attended the Spanish language swim classes are.
Last year, we had one day. We had some staffing issues the rest of the summer, but I think the day that we had, I would say around 20 people. It ranged in age a lot more than we originally anticipated. So we're kind of pivoting that for next year to come up with a plan to maybe divide more by age rather than ability. But we're hoping to kind of grow that into 2 other days. I had a pair of brothers who just like one day they're like, hey, we speak Spanish at home. And it's like, why haven't you ever told me? This is really awesome. So it was basing on their schedule, and they obviously, if one's gone, both are probably gone for family vacation. So we're trying to pivot around some better days to keep those days that we have scheduled and see it grow a little bit more, and hopefully pass the baton as they move on and we find some more Spanish-speaking staff and utilize them.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Oh, I was wondering about the drop-in for the AIR program. Does there have to be, go on, does there have to be a certain ability level for the individual, or do they need to bring their own staff?
We don't require any ability level for any program that we have. We do have a lot of people that bring their own staff. I staff 2 of my staff there to help facilitate, but we typically don't let people drop off if they're not independent to be dropped off at all of our programs. So we just don't have the staffing capacity to be able to provide the services to be able to do like one-on-one for somebody unless it's an inclusion situation. But the drop-in program, typically we're getting like day hab programs like the Goodwill or the ARC or systems that are bringing groups of people with a staff person or a couple staff people.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I got one. This is for Megan. I was just wondering about the nature education. I know you said like you had some birding and stuff, and I was wondering if you had any like fishing related nature education or fish education or what that looked like.
That's a good question. I don't have any plans for fishing. I know we do fishing at the outdoor. All right. Well, Mallory has a fishing plan.
Are you fishing?
And then Get Outside, we do fishing. I know that Joyce had done it in the past. I don't have any plans at this moment. Doesn't mean I won't, but we have like the creek stomping, birding, nature scavenger hunts, garden related stuff right now. That's, and then different activities at Party in the Park that are nature related. Not all of them are. A lot of them are STEAM. Some are STEAM nature related. It kind of depends on the day. So I don't know if you want to elaborate on that. Okay.
Yeah, we have a lot of fishing poles. We've got stuff that usually gets snagged up and stuff, so, we're always trying to fix everything. So we do, Mallory borrows them for her program. Bill and I have gone out to Kent State Park with Michelle for, what was it called? Anyway, it was in the fall, so we took all of our equipment out and helped them with their program because then they help us with volunteers for like Get Outside and stuff like that. So yeah, we do have that type of stuff. We kind of do pop-up fishing stuff, like Wednesday, August, whatever, we're gonna have the stuff out there. We'll buy bait and we'll just kind of have a little at the ponds in City Park. We stay away from the river with the water.
Right, of
but
course.
yeah, we use the ponds at City Park for fishing. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Cool. Caleb?
I had a comment and a question. Tot Time, Matt, you referenced it. Tot Time is a great program. I don't know if all of you have ever been there, but I know my kids all love going there. I used to work there when I worked for Matt, which was really fun. But also, I hear so many comments from people about how much they appreciate Tot Time. So just wanted to say.
We just had the Cedar Rapids Park and Rec come down to look at our stuff and talk about how we run it and take photos and stuff like that. So they want to bring it up to Cedar Rapids as well.
I know of several communities that have adopted Tot Time from people that either lived here and went there and told them about it, or staff that have worked here and then started it there. It's an easy program to get going, but people absolutely love it. So I think that's a great thing. Question I had, how do you fund Rec Assist?
Sure. So Rec Assist is actually revenue that's not recognized for us. So it actually doesn't come from any particular fund. We do have a swim scholarship fund that is a separate fund that's kept through the foundation. So the way that we are able to offer free swim lessons to the community is Rec Assist, if they qualify, Rec Assist takes 50% off of that. And then they automatically qualify for that swim lesson scholarship program, in which case we subsidize an actual dollar amount for the other 50%. So it's one of those things where as the program grows, as Rec Assist grows, as we get more people involved with it, we're essentially recognizing less revenue. But in many cases, it's individuals that would not have been participating in our programs anyways. And so to be able to give them that opportunity, we do recognize some of the revenue from their 50% that they contribute. But then we don't get that other 50% coming in off the top, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does, thanks.
How do you qualify for Rec Assist?
So we have an application process. It's once a year. That was another one of the things that when we rebranded Rec Assist, the low income discount program required that everybody come in to the rec center and they fill out the application each time that they wanted to enroll in a program. And so obviously there's some big barriers with that. And so we made it a lot simpler process. So now somebody can apply online. They apply once per calendar year. It qualifies them for the entire year. We keep a database of that. They just have to reference it. With our ActiveNet system, we don't have it set up so people can register online and just click a button or it's automatically applied to their account. They either have to call in, email, or stop in to get that discount applied. But at least we have some various means of being able to get them applied without having to get them here into our facility.
Okay, cool.
So,
Thank you.
yeah, yep. And then we have some guidelines that we follow for that.
Okay,
Yep.
cool. Thanks.
Any other questions? Okay.
Well,
Thank-
mine's
yep.
also
Yep.
just a comment, kind of piggybacking off of Caleb. I think I have about 6 birthdays a year that I go to that are at Mercer for Tot Time, and you guys do such a great job there, and going on customer service too. Everybody that's been like helping with those Tot Times have been like nothing but the best, and have handled a lot of chaotic situations happening at birthdays. So just appreciate everything you guys do there.
Awesome. That's great to hear. Thank you.
I just want to give an overall appreciation for all of you. I mean, whenever I hear all this stuff, I'm always like, oh my gosh, there's so many cool things going on. And us as a commission are just super proud. Obviously, that's why we chose to be on this commission. So thank you all so much for everything you do.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Okay. So let's do a report on the items from city staff. So Tyler, do you have anything
Yeah.
for us?
I'll let them clear out a little bit first if they want.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So we'll give Brad a break too for a second here, and we'll start with the Parks and Forestry updates. So last night, council approved the City Park shelter and restroom replacement project. That was for the base bid, so not everything that we, wanted for the project, but a lot of good stuff happening with that. The red brick colored restroom by the Hillside Playground there and lower, kind of close to upper there. That one is getting rehabbed. So if you've been in that one lately, it's a little tired in there, but the outside of the building's really cool. So instead of tearing it down and going all new, we are replacing the inside of it essentially. So instead of a men's and a women's side, there will be 4 one single stall kind of family restrooms, if you will, kind of spaces. And then most of the shelters in Upper and Lower City Park will be replaced with that project, with a few exceptions of ones that were in good shape or that we didn't have enough funds to replace at this time. And that bid, McComas Lucina Construction is going to be the ones doing that work. We've worked with them quite a few times in the past, so we're excited to get that project kicked off. Also in that general area, the skate park pump track project at Terrell Mill should be breaking ground any day now. The site clearing will happen this month yet. So that one's another exciting one. We've had a lot of excitement for that one over the time. It's been a long process to get it designed, to do it the right way. We had public input and things like that. But we were hearing from people for a couple years before that, kind of their desires and things. So took in a lot of things into consideration with that. And we are super happy with that one as well, because one of the company that designed it and that's also working on some of the construction of it has donated one portion of that we weren't going to be able to do otherwise. So essentially it was a whole alternate to the project that when we did the bids, we didn't have enough money to cover that. And we're talking 6 figures range for this addition to the park there. So super appreciative of that. So that'll all be happening with that project now. Same time frame, it'll still be open for fall. So we're just working through some final things to make sure everything's right to get that added to that project. North Market Square, you guys have an update of the plan in front of you there. Wanted to provide that to show you after the last meeting, hearing from you all and the public. We took out the sidewalk that was going to be in that area. There's no bench, no new trees. There will be 3 trees that we plan to keep in that space and save, and we'll be removing 2 trees that are Amur maples. They're not a desirable species. We've started to remove them in other parks too. They're problems with, they have problems with being invasive and spreading to other areas and whatnot. So that is essentially, that space will stay the same, only have nicer grass there. We're rehabbing that whole space, the grass. I was out there yesterday and it is pretty much mud right now in a lot of the areas. So that'll be exciting. We're excavating down a decent amount and coming back in with topsoil and compost and sod to rehab that space. So we're excited about that as well. And then you can see on the plan, the other thing that changed, there was the bike fix-it station and racks are going to be kind of in the corner of that space. We've moved those over to where we're at, or where we're transitioning the drinking fountain. So keeping everything kind of out of that area there as well. Tree plantings, we have notified the neighborhood on the west side of town, all the residents that live in the neighborhood where we're adding trees there. And what was that? Which neighborhood? This is West Side Estates, so it is north of Rorit, west of Lake Shore, and then also Dunley and Wildcat, kind of stretching up to where the historic poor farm that the county has, the corner of their property comes in there. It kind of Sloth is kind of the backside of that to the road. So that area, we had a lot of interest from that neighborhood. Multiple households had reached out wanting trees. Their HOA also reached out saying, hey, we have a lot of people that want trees. So doing it all in scale is easier for us. So adding quite a few trees, it's 100 and some. I don't remember the exact number, but big planting out there. And we'll also be adding other trees around what we call our infill planting around town as well, and have some volunteer tree planting projects happening. Rotary stepped up again to help with a couple of them and are funding some of those projects as well. So super appreciative of all that support within the community as well. Prescribed fire, we have burned about half an acre. We tried a couple days ago when it was supposed to be a nice day to burn, and then it decided to start misting. Trying to get some more burns in. It's just been a weird year with the weather, and the couple of days that it may have worked, we've had either staff out or other priorities set for that day already. But we're still looking to get some good burns in this year. We've been working on a project at Sand Prairie Preserve to remove a couple of old fence lines and a bunch of trees that are not supposed to be in that area. They were impacting the health of the prairie in that space, and that prairie is our most sensitive ecosystem in our park system. So trying to improve that space. Streets department really stepped up and helped us out with that. And we also had collaboration from a developer that is on the north side of that park there. They haven't put the development in yet, so they allowed us access across their property, so we weren't driving across and compacting or impacting the prairie on the park there. So it was a very good project, collaboration from a lot of people to make that a success. That is mostly complete, and we're so happy with the way Sand Prairie Preserve looks now compared to even a couple of years ago. Our staff's put a lot of time and effort into that. We've worked with Fish and Wildlife Service. We've worked with other area partners to gain knowledge and expertise, and it's been a fun one to see change in a positive way. And then lastly, we had a retirement. forestry maintenance worker 2 that retired. So tomorrow we have some interviews to fill that position. So that'll be a good one to have our forestry crew back up to full staff and everything. So our employee that retired went quietly. He did it without a big party or anything, just right off into the sunset and enjoy retirement now. So super happy when staff are able to make that next step and enjoy their years, and super thankful for those years put in. He was one of 3 that got us between those 3 to over 100 years of experience. So it will be a big loss with 30 some years of experience in the field, but we'll replace that with another good candidate and keep going in the right direction with forestry. I think that is all. Any questions on any of that?
I had one.
Yeah.
How do you measure or track the ecological impacts of the burns that you do?
That is a good question. We look at, we don't do it in a traditional scientific way. Probably it's more anecdotal. We are looking at what species come back after those fires. Ideally seeing more native species, get established if it's an establishment, or revive if it's someplace like Sand Prairie that has a seed bank and kind of history of prairie still left in it. And then also the reduction of invasive species. Right, that is usually our main goal, either reduction of invasive species or woody species that may not necessarily be invasive. They could be native, but shouldn't be in that prairie space. Species that would have been wiped out historically as fires and things happened on the prairie. So more anecdotal than anything, but in some spots we're not able to burn, so we use other methods like cutting and treating of small woody plants, or mowing in some cases at kind of the right times. But yeah, good question. I wish we had a whole I wish we had the time and expertise to do all the science, like hard science behind it, but not something that we do currently.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't have a question, more a comment. As a new member of the commission, it's so gratifying to see the response of the department and in changing the plans for the North Market Square Park. When people came to talk about it and, made their case, that's just marvelous to see how quickly that was implemented and understood. Great, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we want to get it right to serve the public in the way. And we thought we had it close to right before the meeting, but we found out we didn't. So we adjusted with that. So yeah.
Anyone else? Okay, Brad.
All right, so with summer upon us here, we are doing our final edits of the summer activity guide, and that's going to be out to the public here soon. Registration for that begins April 14th and 15th. However, we do have a number of things that people are already registering for the summer, including our summer camp, which started registration last week. We'll be doing 8 weeks of that, and that's going to be over at Mercer. So we have 30 spots, 30 campers for each week. Of the 240 spots that we have, we only have 18 spots left after that first week. So it is a very popular camp. It's not a huge camp. We don't have the capacity for a lot of kids, but it is an enjoyable program for the parents and the kids that get to participate in that. So I'm guessing that we'll start getting that waiting list going here probably pretty soon. With Garden Plot, the Garden Plot renewals, I believe Matt spoke about Garden Plots last time. They're very popular with the community as well. We have 83% of the garden plots available out there in the community have been renewed. And so that doesn't leave a lot of spots left. I think we have 47 plots that will be available for the public to reserve on March 17th. So those usually fill up the first day. So we do encourage people to if they have an interest in there in a garden plot, to get get access to that as soon as they're able to. And then the farmers market, which we're going to have actually 27 weeks Saturdays of the farmers market this year. There's a bonus market just with the way that the Saturdays fall with everything. Normally we have 26 there, but we have just about 15% of our stalls left to fill. Those applications were due on Friday. People can still fill out the applications, but we'd start doing the stall assignments. And so of the 3,267 total stalls that we have throughout the course of the year that are assigned, a lot of those are filled by seasoned vendors that are there every single week. We have just under 500 left to fill. So those will start to be filled, and it's like this big puzzle that Bill does with putting all these pieces together. So we're really excited for that. Alex, you had a question last month about our hiring processes for City Park Pool. We are underway with that. Kaylee has been doing interviews for that. We have a strategy where we're probably going to not hire to full strength like we normally would. We're looking to probably hire about 2/3 of the staff. With us opening partway through the year, we're going to find ways to be able to subsidize some of those hours that those staff would otherwise be getting at a normal summer at City Park Pool with some of our other programs and events that we have throughout the summer. So we'll be able to subsidize those hours elsewhere. But in lieu of that, we're probably not going to hire the full amount of staff that we typically would, just to be able to get everybody the hours that they're hoping to achieve on their schedule. So that way they'll stick around with us. Any questions? Yeah.
Well, I was wondering if you've considered, and perhaps you have, extending the hours at this pool at the before City Park opens, to sort of make up those hours, if for no other reason than to give the lifeguards hours to work.
Yep, and that could be a possibility. We're kind of looking at some different options for that. We will be doing our swim lessons here at this pool in lieu of the City Park Pool. That's to where we typically would hold our summer lessons. And so we're going to have some additional hours there anyways. And so how that fits in with the schedule, that's something that we'll be discussing as we kind of know more about the timeline for City Park Pool opening. Yep.
It says about the delay, there's some unfavorable site issues there. And I wondered if you knew specifics about.
Sure. There was, and I can't speak on all the specifics there. There was some utility work that was unfavorable there. There was some grading issues as well. And Tyler, you may have some additional details on that as well. But
yeah, it's just in any large multi-million-dollar project, there's going to be things that come up that are challenges, and there's just been different weather things and different site things throughout the time that are part of the reason for some delays.
Yeah, and then some supplier delays as well. Yeah, which is getting the products in, and yeah. Any other questions? Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Brad. All right, let's have some commission time and suggestions for future agenda items. So Rachel, do you have anything you want?
I don't, thank you.
Mary? Mary Helen, sorry.
Yeah, this is kind of like Mary.
Mary, yeah. Michael, do you have? No? Okay, Ryan?
Nope.
No. Virginia?
I missed a couple of meetings over the winter, and so I don't know if this has been covered, but the last time, I just have a question about City Park Pool. The last time I remember us going through plans, it was sort of vague as to like what features would be included in the kids area. Has that been settled now, or are those details still a bit vague?
Yeah, it's settled. There's a small playground, if you will, that sits in the water space. Some water features, if you will, not like sort of like some things you would see like ground features at a splash pad, and like not the big overhead things with that, and just general spaces to have open play. That's what we heard the most in the public comment throughout the process, was keeping a lot of open play opportunities, not make it into a big water park or anything like that. So it'll look very similar in, it'll feel very similar in that open play type of way that the previous pool did as well.
Okay, thanks.
That too. But there is not going to be a separate like kiddie pool or baby pool.
Correct.
Okay.
There are 3 bodies of water. One is a zero depth entry, which is the activity pool. Yep. And there's the lap lane area, which can also be utilized for open swim at certain times, as well as lap swimming. And then there's the diving well, which will also have a rock climbing wall feature to it. So that's kind of another one of those features that, and it'll have the diving capabilities as well. Yep.
Thank you. Alex? I got nothing. So, can adjourn once somebody does the first motion.
So
Okay, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, meeting adjourned.